Boy, summers are so much fun when you're out at the ballpark and the Brewers are playing well and they're in a pennant race. And we've been able to enjoy that the last few seasons. A lot of my lifetime, not the case, but man, it never gets old. I'm enjoying every minute of it. And the summer of Miz continued out at AmFam Field on Tuesday night. We'll talk about all that coming up next on this edition of Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
The moon was out. There was some rain in the area, but it never really moved in. And it was just a great night to be out there. And a national television broadcast as well was on TNT. Dodgers taking on and the Brewers. And Jacob Misiorowski did it again. How would he be after he had a terrible performance, by his standards at least, against the Mets last week? Man, he came back and he was all aces this time around. Hey, everybody, Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers, proud host of Locked On Brewers, longtime sportscaster here in the state of Wisconsin. By the way, appreciate all those pictures you guys are showing me. Some of you guys sent me pictures, DM me on Twitter about you having this show in the morning on your 50-inch TV. One guy even had like a 80-inch TV. A little scary to see my face on a 70-inch TV, but appreciate it, man. And he said, that's how I watch it every day on YouTube all over Wisconsin. Man, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And yeah, the Brewers are just coming together right now. They are the 12 games over the 500 mark. This is the highest they've been this year. Now 2.5 games behind the Cubs, who got beat. And yeah, they beat the Dodgers again. Now they held the Dodgers to just 2 runs over the first 18 innings of these games. And I don't want to hear the injury excuse with the Dodgers. Dodgers will say, well, you're missing this guy and this guy. You got 3 MVPs in that lineup. All right. The Brewers have Christian Yelich. Okay. And he's not the MVP he once was. He's not that guy anymore. Okay. But you have Ohtani, you have Betts, you have Freeman. That's a pretty good start, man. None of those guys are hurt. Those guys are all-stars. So I don't want to hear, the Dodgers are missing all these guys. Man, you spent enough money already, and you got 3 MVPs. And Misiorowski went out there, including facing a future Hall of Famer, Clayton Kershaw, who wasn't bad himself. But Misiorowski was that much better. It was funny. After the game, we're gathered around the Misiorowski's locker to do the post-game interview. And he talked about that Clayton Kershaw, and he didn't say this in a cocky way. He said Clayton Kershaw made reference that he really didn't know who the Miz was. And I went back and Kershaw said, well, is he the guy who injured his ankle on the mound? And you remember back at his opening start, remember he hurt his ankle on the mound. He had to get taken out after 6 innings. That's what Kershaw remembered Miz of, not that the fact that Miz has been dominating most of his starts. And Miz said after the game, yeah, he heard that comment, and he goes, I hope he knows who I am now. And Miz didn't say that in a cocky way. He just kind of laughed it off and said that. And then Kershaw in the Dodger locker room tonight had high praise for Misiorowski. I don't know how you hit that, honestly. He is built to dominate, says Pedro Martinez. How about that? Clayton Kershaw, future Hall of Famer. I don't know how you hit that, honestly. Talking about the Miz. Pedro Martinez, Hall of Famer. He is built to dominate. That's some high praise from 2 legends right there. 2 legends. About our guy, Jacob Misiorowski, who just went out and struck out 12 over 6 innings. And yeah, got off to a rough start when he gave up a home run to Ohtani on an 0-2 pitch, on an 0-2 curveball. And Ohtani hit it about 700 feet to straightaway center field. And yeah, one part about Miz's game is he gives up the home run ball. Not a lot of hits, but he gives up a home run ball from time to time. Well, maybe more than a time to time. But that was it. He gave up a leadoff home run to Ohtani, and the Dodgers didn't score the rest of the game. Miz strikes out 12, and looks like an all-star. And I saw somebody put it on Twitter tonight. Miz, maybe we should consider him to be on the all-star. Maybe he should get added to the all-star team. Well, he's pitching like one. Through 5 starts, yeah, all things equal, he's pitching like an all-star. He is one of the best. Already is one of the better pitchers in the National League. And he's going to get better. And Murphy said this. He says, Misiorowski, the Miz, is just out of the shell. He's just out of the shell. He's got goo coming out of him. He's still a little gooey, I think was his word that he used. Weird, meaning that he's the new kid. He's just out of the shell. Like the San Diego chicken. Remember the San Diego chicken broke out of the shell? The Miz is just out of the shell. That's kind of a bad analogy, but you know what I'm saying? He's just out of the shell. He's a new kid, and he's doing veteran-type things. Yeah, once in a while you see some of the things that he shouldn't be doing, but he's been great. 6th inning, he got some terrific defense behind him with guys on base. Andrew Vaughn with a diving stab down the first base line, which if he doesn't make that play, I think 2 runs score. At least 1 run scores, 2 run scores. Andrew Vaughn had the play of the game, a diving catch down the first base line. I don't know if Rhys Hoskins makes that play. Don't know if Rhys Hoskins makes that play, but Andrew Vaughn did. And I'm not pushing Rhys out at this point, but I'm saying Andrew Vaughn had a game-tying RBI single as well. So far, early impressions, Vaughn is pretty good. We'll get to him in just a second. But back to the Miz. Murphy was asked about the Miz after the game, and a reporter was trying to get out, was trying to say about the Miz, what impresses you about the Miz? And before he even got it out of his mouth, Murphy at the press conference said everything impresses me about this guy. This poise, everything impresses me about the Miz. And that's coming from Pat Murphy. Career high 12 strikeouts, bounced back after the giving up the home run to Ohtani. Here are the guys he's beaten on his way to 4-1. Sonny Gray, Joe Ryan, Paul Skeens, and Clayton Kershaw. Pretty good company, right? Sonny Gray, Joe Ryan, Paul Skeens, Clayton Kershaw on his way to 4-1. And I really think, and I watch a lot of baseball, I watch a lot on the package. Right now, he's pitching like one of the best pitchers in baseball. Right? You're not going to find too many guys who, through their first 5 starts of the season, have done what he has done so far. Oh, and by the way, the bullpen, when he went 6 innings, the bullpen just came in, went 3 innings, no hit ball. That would be Koenig, Uribe, and McGill with an easy 1-2-3 ninth. Koenig, Uribe, and McGill. The bullpen doing bullpen things, and I guess we shouldn't be surprised that another starter had a quality start. This starting rotation is just great. Now, the Brewers didn't do a lot offensively. Clayton Kershaw, coming into the game against Kershaw, the Brewers had a 9-5 record. And that was a little surprising, although his ERA is 2.85 against the Brewers. 9-5. I was like, when has Kershaw ever lost to the Brewers? That's what I was thinking. When has he ever lost to the Brewers during the regular season? Well, last night he was he became 9-6 after the Brewers hung one. But man, I was surprised at the record. But the ERA was great, 2.85. He has really done a number on the Brewers, and the Brewers were able to nickel and dime him with ABC baseball and getting the job done. And then later on, Frelick added a home run. Frelick, according to Adam McCalvey of Brewers.com, that's the 7th home run in the last 71 games. He hit a total of 5 in his first 220. And of course, Frelick went on the weightlifting program in the offseason, had a good diet, ate some Italian food, according to him, and put on some 25 pounds, and it's producing. Now, after the game, Frelick was asked, not Frelick, but Murphy was asked about Frelick, about him becoming a home run hitter. And again, Murph stopped the reporter in mid-sentence and said, hey, we can't be talking about Frelick hitting a home run. He's all of a 5'5" at 150. Well, he's probably 5'7" and 190 or 187 or so. I think he's 192, actually. So he doesn't want to talk about Frelick digging in, hitting home runs. He doesn't want that. It's like a big guy who doesn't. It's like Giannis going out and shooting threes. You don't want him shooting 3-pointers all day. Once in a while he can. Freely once in a while can muscle up, but that's not his game, hitting home runs. Murphy is basically saying, I don't want Freelick up there trying to hit the long ball all the time because he's not a home run hitter. That's not his game. And I get it. So the Brewers get the win, and they go for the sweep of the Dodgers. How about that? 2 runs in 18 innings. Don't give me you got a watered down lineup. You got 3 MVPs in that Dodger lineup. That is a quality win. And the bullpen did its job. And the Miz again. Maybe he needs he's the Miz is a natural nickname. I was calling this guy the Miz in spring training. I'm sure I'm not the first one, but obviously there's a professional wrestler. I think the Miz still wrestles. I haven't watched wrestling in a long time, but the Miz, there's a wrestler named the Miz, pretty famous wrestler, pretty popular wrestler back when I used to watch it. Colorful guy, the Miz. So maybe they'll set it up someday where the Miz could meet the Miz. And by the way, Braun Strowman was at the game too. Former WWE champion was at the Brewers game. He's from Slinger, of course. But he was at the game. He was in the press box. I felt a little crowded in the press box, and I looked over and it was Braun Strowman walking in. God, he's huge. All right. We come back. We'll talk about Vaughn and Hoskins. What's going to happen there? Well, with Vaughn, we're going to miss him for a little bit here. We'll talk about that coming up next on this edition of Locked On Brewers. Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Open phone. It's great for your business. Hey, you know what happens if you're running a business and you miss a call? That means you're missing. That's money left on the table. That's money going down the drain. That's money not coming your way when you miss phone calls from clients. Well, that's where OpenPhone comes in. OpenPhone is the #1 business phone system in America. Helps you streamline and scale customer communication, all from an app on either your phone or computer. That's all it is. Hey, if you have a couple of different phones you're juggling, all you need is this one right here, OpenPhone. OpenPhone is offering Locked On Brewers listeners 20% off your first 6 months. 20%, 6 months. OpenPhone.com/LockedOnMLB. And if you're running a business out there, you know, man, you depend on the phone. We all depend on the phone. We depend on these things right here, right? We don't want to miss anything. But we're doing our job. Let's say you're doing a job. You're going out there and putting some electrical in, and you miss a phone call. This is where OpenPhone comes in. They take care of business for you. And at openphone.com/LockedOnMLB, you're going to get 20% off your first 6 months. No problem. And if you have existing numbers with another service, hey, OpenPhone will port them over at no extra charge at all. OpenPhone, no missed calls, no missed customers with OpenPhone. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Ran into a few of the fans out there last night. Ran into a guy from Whitefish Bay. Said, love listening to you on the radio, Chuck. And I said, hey, man, did you catch my podcast? Yes, sir do. Locked On Brewers. Appreciate it, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you are watching our podcast on YouTube, we're on all the audio platforms. If you want to listen to the audio platform or the audio version of Locked On Brewers when you're driving around the city or doing whatever, or maybe driving to the game coming up on Wednesday afternoon, go to wherever you download your podcasts, Google, Spotify, Apple. You know, if you have an Apple phone, there's a podcast app on there that's probably already installed, I think. Otherwise, you can, download it for free and it'll search for Locked On Brewers and it'll be right there. You put a subscribe button on it and you hit the subscribe button and it'll download your phone every time we drop an episode, so you don't miss anything. You get an alert on your phone as well. If you already drop us on any of the audio platforms out there, please go to our growing YouTube page. Search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. That'll alert you every time we drop an episode here on Locked On Brewers. We're trying to close in on 5,000 subs. We're over 4,900 right now. Started this thing 2 years ago when we were just a couple hundred subscribers. They're all free. All the subscribers. All the subscriptions are free. But please go to our YouTube page, search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. That'll alert you every time we drop an episode on Locked On Brewers. Coming up, I'm also telling you about just an absurd trade that one of these national guys laid on us today. on one of the networks. Just an embarrassing trade. No respect for Milwaukee once again. They think we're just a bunch of buffoons here in Wisconsin. Hoskins is going to miss anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks, and he sounds like at the media gathering before the game today that he was going to miss probably 6 weeks. So it's going to take him into mid-August, probably late August. He's got a sprained thumb, and he's going to miss some time. He can't hold the bat. He's going to be out, and this is why Andrew Vaughn is here. Thank goodness the Brewers made a trade for Andrew Vaughn. They have a first baseman, and it looks like he's going to be the guy for the foreseeable future. And if Vaughn continues to play like he's playing, he's not going to give it up. I said yesterday in the podcast, if Hoskins comes back, I was expecting Hoskins at first. It looked like this was going to be a short-term thing, maybe a week or so, but no, Hoskins is going to be out 6 weeks, he thinks. And that anybody who thought that Hoskins was going to get traded, obviously that takes us past the deadline. Rhys Hoskins would not be traded under any circumstances now. Didn't think he would, even if he was healthy. But Andrew Vaughn, it's his chance to prove himself. He's got to keep on playing well, coming up with big hits. Had a home run a couple of nights ago, and the big game-saving play, the diving stab at first base. So right now, Vaughn looks the part, plays the part, fitting in with his teammates. Says he's still learning the names of everybody. He said he's bad learning first names. We were talking to him in the locker room the other day, and he said, yeah, I'm just bad at learning everybody's name. He said, I don't know anybody in here, and I'm still trying to get to know all their names. So that's Andrew Vaughn. And again, Hoskins out for the 6 weeks. Ortiz did return, was in the starting lineup despite his benching. Monasterio played third base. Caleb Durbin's playing time in the last week or so has dipped off a little bit. Right? It was like he was in a major slump, but he had been hitting well, better as of late. But Durbin was benched for Monasterio. So Monasterio started 2 games at shortstop, moved over to third base, had a nice defensive play over at third base to throw a runner out at the plate. So, and Murph was also asked about Monasterio. Monasterio did play a lot of innings 2 years ago, dipped off last year, started the year in the farm, in the minor leagues this year at AAA Nashville. Again, I don't want to see him playing every day, but he's played the last 3 games. Just a little odd that he's getting as much playing time, and Caleb Durbin's playing time has dipped a little bit in favor of Monasterio. But Ortiz was back in the lineup after getting a benching. Murphy admitted it. He was not happy with the way Ortiz was taking his approaches at the plate. All right, this wild trade proposal. David Scheinfeld of ESPN. I don't watch ESPN except for college basketball. Really, I really don't. I don't watch much of it. And their baseball coverage has dipped off a little bit, and that's why MLB dropped their partnership with ESPN, but apparently they're trying to hook up once again. But anyway, David Scheinfeld says the Brewers, he put this wild trade proposal out there. The Brewers should trade Jesus Mate, Luis Pena, Sal Frelick, Abner Uribe, and Logan Henderson to Atlanta for Ronald Acuna. Now, Scheinfeld wasn't joking when he said this. I mean, he must think we're just total idiots in Wisconsin. Oh, sure, we'll take the star power. And yeah, you could have our best setup guy. You could have a future starting pitcher, our starting right fielder who had an outside chance of being an all-star, plus Luis Pena, and our young prospect, Jesus Mate, a number 1 prospect. For Acuna, I wouldn't trade Mate for Acuna. No. I mean, weird. Again, this is how little these national guys know about the Milwaukee Brewers. And then they stroll into town every once in a while and they try to buddy up to our guys. Ronald Acuna for Jesus Mate, Luis Pena, Frelick, Uribe, and Henderson. My goodness. What an insult. Imagine if the Atlanta Braves called Matt Arnold and said, "Yeah, we'd like to offer you Acuna." Oh yeah, what would you want? Well, we'd want that 18-year-old kid who Jesus Mate. We'll take Pena as well. Your starting right fielder, you throw him in. Uribe, that guy who's just a terrific setup guy. We want him as well. Oh, and by the way, Logan Henderson, the guy who pitched 2 quality starts for you earlier this year, we want him as well. You could have Acuna. I mean, just stupid. And these national guys, they do whatever they can to just humiliate the Milwaukee Brewers. We're just a bunch of jobbers for them. We're just a bunch of guys, a team that's a good, cute little story, but they have no respect. No respect, some of these national guys for Milwaukee. And how long? Why don't we just throw the Miz in there while we're at it for Acuna? My goodness. All right, we'll talk about coming up, going for the sweep. I'll give you a couple of injury updates as well with Cortez and Gasser. But the Brewers are going for the sweep of the Dodgers. That's good to say, isn't it? A sweep? Can't say that too often, but yeah, going for the sweep of the Dodgers. We'll get to that next here on Locked On Brewers. Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team. Everybody, God, that was such a... That David Shanefield, who I wouldn't know if, he walked into the press box. Would not know him at all. I recognize it because that's how little I watched the 4-letter network. FanDuel. Maybe you like the live bet. FanDuel is the place to do your live betting. FanDuel, they are the number 1 sports book in the country for several reasons. I love their live betting. Live bidding, they're easy to use, fast payout. Hey, watching regular season games. I know sometimes there's a lot of games on TV. Well, you want to get into all the action? Get in with FanDuel. Same game parlays, live betting, new customers. If you're new to FanDuel, you bet $5, you get $150 in bonus bets. Add it right into your account if your first bet wins. Visit the FanDuel app today. Get on all the action. FanDuel.com to get started today. Whether, maybe you want to go on some afternoon soccer, maybe afternoon baseball. I see they also have like Summer League Baseball on there, which is just bizarre. But hey, man, whatever trips your trigger, if that's what you want, FanDuel, you can get in all the action. Tennis as well. While your friends are out there getting sunburned on the beach, you're at home in the air conditioning playing on FanDuel. We get, once again, though, new customers, you bet $5, you get $150 in bonus bets if that first bet wins on FanDuel. Join FanDuel today, FanDuel.com to get started with FanDuel. All right, down the stretch we come here on Locked On Brewers. A couple of quick injury updates. Cortez, who they'd have to make a spot for in that rotation. Not sure who that guy is going to be on the odd man out. He's got another rehab start coming up for the Timber Rattlers, the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers of Appleton, coming up on Thursday. Perkins is going to begin another rehab situation in Nashville. I think there's buying time with Perkins because there's no roster spots to put him on the roster right now. I mean, that's a good problem to have. You have an abundance of starting pitchers. You got 3 guys in the rotation down at Nashville who could be in a major league team. And you got Blake Perkins, who's a gold glove type outfielder still in Nashville. Robert Gasser going to throw the simulated game, live BP this week. And if all goes well, he'll begin his rehab next week. Robert Gasser. Do we even talk about Robert Gasser with all this abundance of pitching? We were like, God, if we could only get him back in July. Remember, like last year, we get him back in July. And now he can take as long as he wants because there's so many guys right now who are pitching well in this rotation. With the win on Tuesday night, the Brewers moved to 9-9 against teams from that potent National League West. Going for the sweep. Please, Pat Murphy, don't use that Sunday lineup. I don't want to see the Sunday lineup, which is, and here's how it goes. If you aren't versed on the Sunday lineup, what the Brewers have done over the years is, if they've won the first 2 games of a series, the final game of the series, usually like a Sunday, there's just a bizarre batting order, like Daz Cameron batting in the cleanup spot. Just a weird batting order. multiple. And it's not like one guy gets rest, like 6 guys in the starting lineup get a day off. Well, we've already taken 2 of the first 2 games. We'll throw this other lineup at you. God, I hate when teams do that. Like when you rest guys, I don't mind 1 or 2 guys getting rest, but when you're like resting like 6 guys, that's just on you'll see Monasterio in the leadoff spot. So no Sunday lineup on Wednesday. How about that? No Sunday lineup. Brewers 2.5 behind the Cubs. Jose Quintana goes against Tyler Glasnow. This Glasnow, big kid, 6'8", about 225 pounds. It's his first start in 2 months. He's coming off a shoulder injury. 2 months trying to rehab the shoulder injury. And his rehab starts, he's had 3 of them for the last couple of weeks. Not been very good. Did not go well, his rehab starts. There was some thought he was going to pitch Friday against San Francisco, but Dave Roberts says, no, he's pitching Wednesday. He's pitching tomorrow. He'll no doubt be on a pitch count, Tyler Glasnow. So we'll see how he does against Jose Quintana. Glasnow, who is not pitched in 2 months, has been terrible in his rehab starts, rejoining the rotation after a shoulder injury, and yet the Dodgers are a minus 157 favorite. God, I love the Brewers as that home underdog. Jose Quintana on the hill for Milwaukee. Gotta love the Brewers in the 3-game sweep, right? Dodgers have lost 5 in a row. 5 in a row. Brewers on the verge of sending them to their second sweep. Dodgers got swept last weekend by Houston, and the Brewers could do it again on Wednesday. In any case, we'll be back here Wednesday night talking with you here on Locked On Brewers, giving you all the details, talking about it, going into the off day, and Washington coming in this weekend. So hope you join us late Wednesday night. We'll be right back here. Until then, my name is Chuck Freeman. Thanks for tuning in and making us your first listen to every day on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day.